Happy Sunday. Welcome to episode 53. Episode 53. Happy medium. Good to be back this week with you guys. When did I last record? Last Saturday or Sunday, I think. I don't know. Somewhere around the end of last week, I think I recorded. Um, yeah, good to be back. Um, this and hope you all are enjoying this nice, unseasonably warm October weather so far. It's been like 80 degrees for the past 2 weeks. I'm I'm a big sweatshirt and shorts guy, and at least in the fall and spring. So looking forward to being able to put on my famed DePaul hoodie. If you know me, then you know that's probably one of my favorite things to wear. But yeah, trying to enjoy this weather while it lasts, and hopefully the winter won't be too bad. But yeah, anyway, welcome back. Happy Sunday, NFL football Sunday. I'm not going to be talking about the Bears because they don't play today or this week. They have a early week 5 bye week. You know, as a fan, not the best thing in the world, especially when you've only played 4 games so far. But it means you get 13, what? Yeah, 13 continuous weeks of football after this week. So sounds like a pretty good compromise. Um, yeah. So I wanna start off this week's episode with a question. Do the Cubs know that the NLDS started yesterday, or did they leave their whole team behind in Chicago? And I'm not really joking when I say that. Yeah. So that's what I want to start off with. Obviously, a little MLB playoff talk, Cubs, and other teams. But I'm in the Chicagoland area, so I'm gonna talk about the Cubs. It makes the most sense too. Yeah. Do the Cubs know that the NLDS started yesterday? Because I don't know if they do. I don't know. I don't know if they even showed up or played that game in Milwaukee yesterday up at good old AmFam, as I like to call that ballpark, American Family Field. That may be one of the worst Cubs games I've watched this year. That game was over after pretty much the first inning. It started off so promising. 4 pitches in, Michael Bush leadoff home run. My friend was sitting front row right there at the Cubs bullpen and right center field, and you can see him in the camera shot when the ball is traveling out there. Told him he should have jumped for it. Started off so promising for him and all the other Cub fans that were there at AmFam. Then the Brewers, I don't want to say got pushed past their playoff demons that they've been facing in recent seasons, but that's certainly a good start to do so. 9-3 win by the Brewers over the Cubs yesterday afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon setting for. I feel like it's kind of un, unusual to do game one of a playoff series on a Saturday afternoon, but MLB makes the schedule. I don't. So, nonetheless, it was a beautiful afternoon. Cubs started off the best possible way you could start off with a leadoff home run. But then Brewers scored not one, not two, not three, but 6 runs in the bottom of the first inning. A offensive onslaught, if you will, or maybe like death by 1,000 paper cuts, because they didn't even hit a home run the entire game, I don't think, or in the first inning, nonetheless, and they still scored 6 runs in that one inning to pretty much zap all the momentum that the Cubs had and take that game and make the Cubs just flush it. Um, double. I think it was like three straight doubles to start off the bottom of the first for Milwaukee. And then I think it was Blake Perkins had a great like 10 or 11 pitch at bat to I think 2 run single up the middle. Nico Horner, the Cubs. I don't want to say Gold Glove. I don't even know if he's won a Gold Glove, but one of the best defensive second basemen in baseball. Um, Made an error on a, I don't want to say it was a routine play, but certainly an error that cost him a run or two. Um, could have, maybe got put out on that play and saved the ball from sneaking past him, but couldn't make the play. Brewers score on that, scored more runs after, and then you look up and Matthew Boyd, the Cubs starter, didn't even make it out of the first inning. Cubs manager Craig Counsell had to go to the bullpen in the bottom of the first inning, which pretty much tells you how the game went for the Cubs. Um, yeah, what a start to, I can't say the playoffs, but what a start to the divisional round for MLB and the Brewers specifically, given that the Brewers haven't had a lot of playoff success in recent years. They lost in the NLDS, was it the or no? I think they lost in the wild card round to the Mets last year. The Brewers are like the epitome every year. It seems like of the team that wins their division like every year, but they can't make it far or win around in the playoffs any year. Um, so I remember, I think it was opening day this year. I picked Milwaukee to win the NL Central, and then in like May and June, it may not have been looking that hot as a, as a prediction. But I just had confidence in the Brewers because they've been kind of running the NL Central for the last several years now. And look, July, August, Brewers ran away with that division. So, um, certainly good for them to continue their momentum from the regular season. Now, the series certainly is not over for the Cubs. Like yeah, they lost by 6 runs and that game was over pretty quickly, but there's still a lot of time to go. There's still a lot of games yet to be played. Game two is Monday, tomorrow, I believe. The ALDS continues acting today. NLDS has a day off, and then they go back tomorrow for the Cubs, Brewers, and Phillies Dodgers series. The Cubs pitching though is a little bit of a question mark. Not just because Matthew Boyd didn't pitch great yesterday, but just because they're a little bit depleted um, in that spot. Kate Horton, who's been pretty much a revelation, sensation for the Cubs in his rookie year this year. I believe he has a rib injury, was left off the wild card series roster against San Diego, and was also left off the DS roster versus Milwaukee this series. They weren't sure how he was going to respond or come back, or if he was like ready or healthy to come back yet. It seems like if he was activated, he could have maybe been lined up for a winner take all game 5, but it makes sense that they wouldn't want to put him in that spot. It would be his first start in at least a couple weeks, I assume. So, um, but without him, it's a little I don't want to say it's tough, but it's a little shaky for the Cubs right now. It was a little bit, I don't want to say questionable, but certainly people had their thoughts on Matthew Boyd starting game one yesterday against Milwaukee, given that he started. I think it was game one against San Diego in the wild card series, but that wasn't that long ago. It was, I think, game one of that series was was it Tuesday or Wednesday? So he had like 3 days rest only. And like I said, he didn't make it out of the first inning yesterday, so it's not like he threw that many pitches anyway. They might be able to use him maybe in I don't know, game three, game four if they need or want to. And he has been one of their best pitchers all year. He did make the All-Star team. But certainly a lot of fans had their thoughts after that 6-run first inning. The command wasn't there from Boyd. Body language just never seemed very comfortable from the start of the game. Um, Now he's gonna tell you that he felt good and he wanted to pitch, and Craig Counsell defended the move post game, said that the whole Cubs organization felt comfortable with Boyd on the mound for game one, but you, you do have to think on 3 days rest, only maybe another day or two would have been a better option than starting him in game one. But like I said, the Cubs pitching's a little depleted without Horton right now, and their ace pitcher Justin Steele's been out for pretty much the whole year since like the first week or two of April. So they don't have as many options as they would like right now. Shota Imanaga could be a candidate to start game two, but he's been a little inconsistent toward the end of the season. He pitched in game two of the wild card against San Diego last week, but they went with an opener with Andrew Kittredge to pitch the first inning that game because they were worried about Imanaga's um, ability to face the top of the order in that game. So, do you start him in game two tomorrow? Do you go with another opener? Do you go with a guy like Colin Ray? Maybe could give you a 3, 4, 5 innings if need be, depending on how well he would go. Uh, they you know, not that it's a good thing when your starter can't make it out of the first inning, like Boyd couldn't yet in game one yesterday. But Aaron Savali, White Sox and Brewer legend Aaron Savali, was able to kind of, I don't want to say save the pen, but he pitched was 3, 4 innings out of something like that, like 2, 3, 4 innings out of the bullpen to get a little bit of length there. They had Ben Brown go for a couple innings at the end of the game just to save some arms when you're down, 5, 6 runs. So the good news was that they didn't have to use any of their top bullpen guys like Keller, Kittredge, etc. in game one against Milwaukee, and that maybe they'll be ready for game two. But the starting pitching has to put them in that position to be available and ready for game two, right? Like if you're down 6-1 after the first inning, I think it was 9-1 after two, you're not, you're automatically eliminating pretty much everyone in your top bullpen roles right there. So, hopefully they won't have to kind of deplete their starting corps after game two or three again. Because I know they only got 3 runs. It was weird. The Cubs hit 3 home runs. Brewers didn't hit any. Usually that's a recipe for success in the postseason in baseball. But when your pitching gives up 9 runs in the first 2 innings of the game, you're kind of dead in the water right there. So yeah, the Cubs know that game one started yesterday because they didn't pitch like it at least, and Freddie Peralta did a really good job keeping the Cubs offense at bay on the Brewers pitching side as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the series goes for either team. I think if the Brewers win game two, I think it's over. I think the Brewers would win maybe game three or game four at Wrigley to seal it. If the Cubs win game two, that's really interesting because then the series goes back to Wrigley for games three and four next week. And the Cubs have played pretty well at Wrigley recently, so they might be able to get a little home cooking, little home field advantage. See if their crowd can make a difference. Like I know back in the 2016 run when they made the World Series, the crowd at Wrigley was just crazy. So, like I said, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if the Brewers win game two, I think it's over. If the Cubs win game two, ooh, I don't want to say the Cubs are gonna win if they win game two. Um, but that's certainly, yeah, it's not like the most crazy analysis to say this, but it certainly helps their chances if they win game two. Because if you go in a 2-0 or 0-2 series hole against the number one seed and the team that's in your division in Milwaukee that's that good of a team. I don't think they're gonna come back from that. Even if they were to play at Wrigley, like for two, 1 or 2 games, I think the Brewers would just have all the momentum, and that would kind of overweigh what the Cubs could do at home per se. Um, but if the Cubs win Game 1, then Game 3 becomes really interesting, both because it's going to be played at Wrigley and also because we don't quite know how the Cubs pitching rotation is going to shake up yet. I don't think we know who's starting Game 2 as of now. I don't think, at least to my knowledge, I don't think it's been announced. I'm sure it'll get announced probably sometime later today, maybe even now. So um, should be a fun series nonetheless. I believe I read it's the first time the Cubs and Brewers have faced off in the playoffs, which seems kind of crazy because they've played a lot of high intensity games throughout the last several years. It kind of feels like decades at this point. But it's the first time they've ever been in the playoffs, so should be a good. It's either gonna be the Brewers, like I mentioned earlier, kind of exercising their postseason demons and advancing to the NLCS with a chance to go to the World Series as the NL's top seed, or the Cubs taking down the number 1 seed and team in their division to make it to the NLCS first. It'll be either the Phillies or the Dodgers on the other side of the bracket. So a lot of fun, a lot of intrigue coming for baseball in these playoffs soon, if not already. We had a great game last night, also on the AL side with the Tigers and Mariners. That's a really good series. I could see either team winning that game, or sorry, winning that series. Uh, it's really well, not that I'm like a Tigers homer, but it's really important that the Tigers won at least one game on the road up in Seattle. Like I said, with the Cubs in Milwaukee, if you're on the road for games 1 and 2, you play games 3 and 4 if necessary at that other team's home ballpark. Tigers have Tarek Skubal, for my money, the best pitcher in baseball right now. Their ace lefty. He did not pitch Game 1. I forgot if he was pitching Game 2 or Game 3. Maybe Game 2 tonight. We'll see. We'll see. But if the Tigers can win, school will start whether it's Game 2 or Game 3. I think that puts them in the driver's seat. Not I'm not gonna again. I'm not gonna guarantee that they're gonna win the series, but winning Game 1 puts you in a really good position, especially on the road, to be able to kind of steal that momentum away from the home team in Seattle and see what they can do for the rest of the series. The Tigers had that kind of late season collapse. It looked like they were going to run away with the AL Central Division, but then Cleveland came back, won it the last day of the year. But then, coincidentally, the Tigers and Guardians faced off in the wild card round last week, and the Tigers ended up winning 2 games to 1. So, Tigers were still able to get past the Guardians despite that little late season collapse, or big late season collapse. And they're a really, really good team. I think Seattle's a really good team. Their pitching is really good, but I think Brian Wu, one of their top arms, is not on the DS roster this round. So that kind of, doesn't help them exactly. They still have a lot of really good pitchers, but having him would certainly help. Trying to think what else. Yankees, Blue Jays. Blue Jays with a dominating 10-1 win last night. I don't know if I mentioned the Tigers won 3-2 in 11 innings last night. Back to the Blue Jays. Yankees, Blue Jays 10-1. I thought the Blue Jays might win that game, but I didn't see them winning it, that convincingly. 10-1, kind of like the Cubs Brewers. Not much to be said there. Just got to prepare for Game 2 if you're New York. The Blue Jays are the AL's top seed also, but I think that it's going to be a pretty close series. I could see it going 4 or 5 games need be. Both teams are in the AL East. They both know each other extremely well. Uh, so yeah, I think that's going to be a really good series as the week progresses. And then the other are the the last DS series on the NL side is like I mentioned, Dodgers Phillies. Phillies, I don't want to say they had that game, but they were in the driver's seat to win that game, and then the bullpen kind of blew it. That was pretty much the theme of October 2024 for them last year when they lost that series against the New York Mets in the DS. Phillies for years have had a lot of talent. They spend a lot of money, but they don't have a championship to show for it. They made the World Series, I think it was 2022 when they lost against Houston, but have not been able to make it back to that point yet. They're they're kind of like Milwaukee in the in that time span where they've been winning the division or at least making the playoffs every year pretty consistently, but haven't quite been able to get over that hump now. Like I said, Philadelphia has made a World Series recently. The Brewers have not, but the ultimate goal is to win, not just make it there. So Phillies got a little, they need some help in their bullpen right now. They have one of the top starters in baseball, but it doesn't, it only helps you so much when your bullpen can't hold on to the lead that your starter and your offense was able to gift you with. So uh, Dodgers came back to Oscar Hernandez. I know he had a error when the Dodgers played the Reds last series, but he also hit a couple big home runs too. Came up with a big, I think it was a 3-run homer last night to w- win that game. Uh, it's not like it was a ninth inning or anything, but still, it was obviously a huge momentum changing home run. Dodgers bullpen, they brought Tyler Glasnow out of the bullpen, which I was surprised by, and then they brought in Roki Sasaki to close out the game. Shohei Ohtani, best player in baseball, started the game as the Dodgers pitcher. Pitched well. Um, he's certainly going to do a lot of things with his bat. I think his pitching gets a little overlooked sometimes, but he is still, one of the top. I think he's one of the top pitchers in baseball too, as well as for what he can do hitting wise. He's going to hit 50 to 60 home runs pretty much every single season. But his pitching was able to help the Dodgers last night to hold the Phillies offense in check. They have a lot of really good sluggers like Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, etc. So, like I said, that should be a really good series as well. I could see that going 4 to 5 games. Um, to like I said, the the winner of the Cubs Milwaukee series is going to face the winner of Dodgers Phillies, and then the winner of Tigers Mariners is going to face the winner of Blue Jays Yankees. So, like I said, still a lot of really fun, intriguing, good baseball storylines to be played here in the next probably 3 4 weeks. World Series should end around beginning of November, I would assume. So we're getting toward the end of baseball season. Sadly, it's my favorite sport, a sport I look the most forward to watching and just keeping tabs on throughout the entire year. Sometimes I wish it wouldn't end, but we got a lot of really good sports on the calendar coming up anyway soon. We got football in full swing right now, obviously. NBA is going to start in a couple, 3 weeks. College basketball starts in about a month for my DePaul fans. So, yeah, got a lot of really good stuff on the docket, sports wise, coming up. Yeah, just wanted to chat a little about some baseball this week for today. I don't know what my agenda is going to be like for next week or future episodes. I may have mentioned I was trying to do an interview over the last like week or two. I'm still working on that with my guest. It's just that my guest has a lot of stuff to do for his sports job right now. And I've been a little busy too, but I should have some more free time coming up soon. So be on the lookout for an interview, hopefully in the next couple weeks at least with that guest. And obviously, I'm gonna have some more lined up on the docket um, coming up soon. So yeah, thank you for coming back and listening again or watching, whatever method you prefer. I appreciate it. Like, interact with the podcast, subscribe, leave comments, all that good fun stuff. I enjoy all that. Follow me on the socials. Let me know your thoughts. If you agree with me, if you disagree with whatever I have to say, I welcome all um, conversations. So appreciate you coming back and listening. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend slash start to next week. I love this week, and I will see you hopefully in a. I'm gonna aim maybe for middle of the week, this upcoming week to record an episode if I can. So I should see you all very soon. Take care and happy Sunday.